Look at the impressive driveway to our newly carried out project. Let me show you a few shots. Friends, we've moved into the day so you can get a better picture. I'd like to open my narrative about the house with a story about the fence. The fence is the house's fifth facade. It's the first impression for guests or owners approaching the house. He sees a fence. Our fence is very interesting, as you could see from my impressive appearance into the frame. And there is such a remote control here. I press one button and the entrance gates come right out of the ground. Why did we do it like that, huh? Why not make sliding gates? The point is that the length of these gates is longer than the blind part of the fence. We physically lacked space to roll them back there, simply because it's a small plot of land. We thought about swing systems. We thought about systems that slide like an accordion, but none of them are so impressive. A swing system would obstruct pedestrians who might walk on the pavement, and our house is located right in the city. Therefore, we selected this option, which is made by a big league Polish manufacturer, by the way. Haters will say this system doesn't work in winter. Since it's winter at the moment, we're test driving this fence. There is an opinion that ice forms right here, and it's preventing this fence from going up. In fact, there are quite large gaps here that allow water to leak inside, and ice does not form. If a snowfall happens here, this fence will break through the crust of ice and any snow drifts very easily. The fence itself is interesting from the point of view that it is very minimalistic, meaning it is not blind. You know how I hate blind fences. When you approach a nice house and there's a blind fence made of corrugated sheets. Here it's actually called a comb fence. It's difficult to climb over. There is no crossbar to latch onto here. There's nowhere to put your foot. It's physically hard to climb over it. And we will plant it with greenery from the roadside, as you see, to maintain the privacy of our clients who will be using this house. There is also a small gate here. If you walk down the street, you get into a house through this gate. It leads directly to the entrance, and in fact, there is also a mailbox here that is installed right into the fence. I really love such solutions. From here, inside, it has an access. Now let's all hop inside. When we enter this courtyard area, what is interesting about it at all? On the right side, we have a parking space for the car, and you can drive right up to the front door. To me, it seems like a mistake when the parking is far from the entrance because people come with bags and drag through your entire plot to the front door, but that somehow feels wrong. When you have a parking space that leads right to the door, it's important to consider two things. First, it is important to slope it towards the road so that the water drains off. So that it doesn't drain to the house or its facade, which could cause problems, so that it drains to the road. The second solution is paving. The pavement should be interesting. We use two types of paving. First thing is small cobblestone, needed for a minimalistic house, so there's something for the eye to catch on and, in general, creates an interesting detailed picture. Here we have such large concrete slabs visually hanging over each other. There's a beautifully integrated lighting, arranging a gradual ascent to the house's entrance doors. That means we don't construct a porch with 4 steps, but we are gradually eliminating these steps, thereby achieving a pathway with such an incline along these slabs. Polished concrete was not used here. We often use polished concrete, but here we decided to go with porcelain tiles. Well, it turned out to be very beautiful as well. And when we walk along this path, we walk next to a wall that is made of laths. This is thermally modified wood. It's a tactile material. That is, it's crucial for a minimalistic modern house. So that those walls, with which a person is in contact, right there he walks next to them, he can touch them. They are tactile. Here is thermowood on laminated plywood. Take a look at the lath. It is not parallel to the wall panel, but instead, it is rotated 90 degrees. First, we fix battens to plywood, then mount them on a wall with panels. You can see a 16.4 feet cantilevered extension of what appears to be the second floor, creating a canopy here. I would even call it a single-storied house. I'll tell you why. On the second floor, In order to achieve a beautiful distant perspective, we placed only one room, and there is simply one bedroom. What's more, this idea of placing the room above, it gave us a lot. Firstly, it made a spectacular entrance. Secondly, it offered a great view from the bedroom, such a distant perspective. Thirdly, we saved on house materials. Yes, and moreover, we couldn't make a separate shed here due to insufficient space. Therefore, the house itself forms a carport, which is actually a garage. And you might ask why a garage is needed if there's already a carport. Well, there could be multiple cars, and the summer car needs storage. It neatly drives into the garage. And here is the thing. Often people make the garage in such a way, but it's not very convenient. When you have a gate from the street, so you drive, park the car, and then you need to go through this gate and enter once more. Awkward, isn't it? Here we have it as a drive-through, meaning you can drive in with your summer car, for instance, then you exit, respectively, from here. Here we have a door, the garage is pass-through. From here you can go out and walk back up to the house. In addition, this passage is very beautiful. From here we see two architectural volumes over which another one overhangs above. The third architectural volume is like an artificial path, yes, that is, it forms a kind of chamber-like enclosed space. You see, here is the identical concept with a gradual climb, yes, through such overhanging terrain steps of the landscape. And having come up here, let me tell you about the door, because it definitely deserves attention. The door we have is indeed intriguing. This is a shuko frame. It's 9.84 feet tall. That means it's very tall. It has a recessed shuko handle. This is a double-glazed window. I mean, it's not immediately obvious. It seems like some kind of glossy material, but it's a double-glazed window with a special ceramic tinted coating. And actually, this is also a double-glazed window. That is, being inside, I can see a guest. Nevertheless, from the outside, well, it's very hard to see what's inside the house. That is, the door has a good reflection. And this is done on purpose. The lock is exactly the same as in my house. Exactly the same lock. Manufactured by German Sigenia, it works like that. If you're the owner of the house, your phone linked to this lock, then it authorizes you via Bluetooth. You don't need to enter code. You press one button and go through. I am not the owner of the house in this area, so we input the guest code. We pass through successfully. Look how this door opens. It opens inward. This is also unusual because usually they make it open outward. As these are premium plots, they are naturally small in size and have neighbors on all sides. That is, very complex conditions for design. We were faced with the task of building a house of about 6458 on 35 square feet and fitting it into a 0.24 acre plot, moreover stretched out like a long sausage. And in fact, without any kind of beautiful view accents. Probably, the ratio of building density is about 50%. That is, the house occupies half of the entire plot. And probably the most interesting thing in this architectural composition is the inner courtyard. I love houses with inner courtyards. They are very intimate, such beautiful spaces, and the house appears to look inside itself. By the way, I see that our architect Nikita, who worked on the project, is standing on the roof. Let him talk about actually the inner courtyard in this project.
Greetings.
I'm Nikita, the leading architect of the project. Yes, in this project we used an inner courtyard or patio as a technique.
Due to the house's rich functionality but limited plot area, there are difficulties with the scenic characteristics, so we decided to embrace that kind of challenge and create such massive architectural beauty within ourselves. What's the catch? This signifies that we possess 3 facades which surround our inner courtyard. We designed one of the facades with panoramic glazing for our living room area. The block beneath me is residential. It contains 2 bedrooms, and the block to the right of me also has panoramic glazing. This is a spa block with a pool, and all this forms such a closed private space that is completely secluded from the outside world. And on the 4th side, it is enclosed by future greenery. It is also worth mentioning the functionality of the inner courtyard, as it is an integral part of the architecture because it is closely tied to it. It has 3 fundamental zones. Zone number 1 is the barbecue area, the dining area, that is, where you can put a dining table, exit from the living room area, to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, enjoy the fresh air, beautiful city view. Zone number 2 is fire pit. And so, fire pit zone is such a lounge area, an alternative to the living room area in our common space. That is, there will be a soft corner located in this place with pretty little cushions. There will be a bowl containing a fire pit, giving the impression that this area is an extension of the living room. We will feel this continuity in the interior design. And zone number 3, that's the kind of platform that leads to the frontage of the spa block. And what is interesting is that we made a decision to experiment a little and create the illusion of a pool that bursts forth from the inside, from the interior of the house to the outside into the courtyard. And we constructed such a fascinating fountain, which will eventually resemble a logical continuation of the pool when viewed from the interior. But not only from the interior, but also from the inside of our courtyard. What does it mean? This implies that the inner courtyard is an essential component of the architecture, and I would go so far as to state that it is a type of space that brings together all the areas in one. And now I will go downstairs and we will continue to explore this house and discuss the facades. Here, the facades. Actually, the panoramic glazing of the living area, we made it entirely in such a glass monolith. Why am I talking about it, although we were going to discuss facades? Because the glass here is an integral part of architecture, and as you can see, here we have resorted to such a technique, where the transparent glazing of the living room is adjacent to such inserts made of emelit glass, and in total it molds this overall image of everything that surrounds us in the patio. And in a way it dissolves the house and makes it more personalized, more human-scaled. The SPA block, as well as the block of our second floor with an overhanging cantilever, is faced with large format porcelain stoneware. What does wide format mean? Wide format refers to a format with dimensions of 3.28 by 6.56 feet. Thanks to the interesting stitching, the use of windows plasticity, and the formation of slopes, we are able to create a kind of monolithic heavy volume, while incorporating some unique and intriguing details of its own. The facade of the block, which contains 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, is finished with such an interesting material. It looks absolutely like wood, like veneer, but we all know that using veneer outdoors is quite problematic because it's a very thin material. And in this particular place, we make use of high-pressure laminate with walnut veneer lamination, which helps to create such a warm and inviting atmosphere with its cozy and even wooden surface that encloses inner courtyard.
By the way, while sitting here I was browsing our Instagram. I encourage you to go there for useful tips too. Subscribe to our YouTube, Instagram, and my own Instagram for interesting posts of our architectural projects. Let me tell you a bit about interior layout. We just entered the house from the terrace, and this is the living room, kitchen, dining room. To be precise, here, where the window is lower, will be the kitchen area. In the center there will be a dining room with an outside access. And here is the plunged area, where there will be a row of modular sofas and, these beautiful pictures with sofas knee-deep into the floor. It will be like this. This is part of the living room, a relaxation area, and it also transitions through the glazing as if to the outside into a fireplace area, that is, a flow of spaces. Very interesting approach. There the fireplace areas recessed just like the sofas are recessed here. So just like we have the pool coming out pretty much through the glazing, onto the street like a fountain, and the relaxation area, it also extends to the street through the glazing. Let's maybe move a bit closer to the front door to kick off a story about the layout from the perspective of an individual who has entered this house. He sees a beautiful staircase. By the way, from here you can observe that the door is transparent. When I was by the door, you probably saw that the interior space is not visible from the street. But from the inside, we can see the street, we can see the guest who comes in. Incidentally, this garage hides us from the road. That is, this is not the first time we have designed like that. I really love transparent entrance doors, but when they face the road, you need to make either some kind of wall or some volume of the house, or for example a functional block such as a garage, which shields the interior space of the house from street glances. As soon as we enter, we can go through such a beautiful wardrobe. Here we have a huge panoramic window. There will be closets on both sides of this wardrobe. There will be an ottoman in the center. You can take off your outerwear here and go into the house. You see 2 entrances. That is, a through movement. This is very convenient. The guest bathroom is on this side. It is not in the vicinity. It's not the best option when you enter and see the guest bathroom door. It is somewhat like this, hidden, but still close. Accordingly, its proximity to the kitchen enables combining the engineering communications of wet areas, so to speak. Right along the axis, we can see the dining area and courtyard area. It's like a bright spot in this part of the house. It's vital when you enter a house, you see something beautiful, not a room restricted by walls. Well, and probably the most beautiful thing is this staircase, which you can see here. It's a cantilevered one, so how is a cantilevered staircase made? Here we have a metal bracket to which the steps are welded. That is, this is probably more properly called a stair stringer, which is built into the wall. Everyone fears the staircase vibrating, thinking it's unstable. However, as you can see, there's no vibration, it's actually stable. That is, the staircase is very stable, and in general, do not be afraid to use such solutions in your projects. Look, once we step into the house, we have multiple ways to proceed. Namely, the stairs are one choice, the living room is the second choice, the dressing room is the third choice. Moreover, we can go behind a wall like that. Here we have the boiler room, and here we have the guest room. And I really like such layouts that offer numerous movement options. That is, there are not just corridors and rooms, but there are some walls that divide the space into functional areas. And here is a staircase with such a monolithic load-bearing wall, it serves as a core that separates the entrance area from the living rooms. The next room is the boiler room. It is located in close proximity to the entrance, as there is a tray provided for washing the paws of pets in that area. If you walk the dog, you can head directly to the utility room to wash paws.
I hand the microphone to my colleague Nikita.
Hello again. At this moment, we are in the heart of our home because you can't imagine a contemporary home without modern filling. And here is where all the engineering is concentrated, achieving the highest possible density. What do we have here? We have a gas boiler, specifically a condensing one, that is wall-mounted. As you can see, it's quite small, even though our house is practically 5920 square feet. The heating system itself is completely assembled on stainless steel. Here we can see pump groups for the underfloor heating system, as well as for the radiators. There is the water treatment, that is, the water undergoes an additional cycle of purification and softening, which helps to avoid tarnish on the mixers, on the mirrors, on the shower cabin glasses, and so on. These expansion membrane tanks are needed to compensate for the pressure in the heating system, because the heating system is quite inert. It tries to react to a decrease or increase in the outdoor air temperature, and accordingly, the metal has not yet had time to cool down, and the water either heats up or cools down, and because of this, it expands. The next installation, and probably the most impressive in this room, is the ventilation system that helps to circulate fresh air and maintain a comfortable indoor environment. Also, this is one of our house's units, as there are only 2. The second is in the technical room of the spa block. As Andres mentioned, there is a paw washing station here, since the boiler room is located next to the entrance group. The future owner can come back from a walk with the dog, wash its paws here, and calmly let it run around on the expensive parquet flooring without any worries. Here we have such a system. Yes, you might ask, there used to be a boiler, there was water treatment, and here is the filtration system, and this, my friends, is the central humidification system, which works together with the supply and exhaust unit, because during the heating period, the humidity of the air drops significantly, which adversely affects our health. And the presence of these additional devices in every room, even if they are aesthetically pleasing, is not acceptable in a house of this scale and level of sophistication. Here, humidification is installed into the engineering of the house.
So, from the living room, we can access the private section of the house, where there are 2 rooms for children and a bathroom located between them. That is, we pass this private part through such a corridor. Furthermore, this corridor is not only with blind walls, we have glazing installed in this area. Glazing specifically directs to transparent parts of the fence where beautiful trees will be planted. And along the gallery, we can see 1 room, accordingly, the second children's room and a bathroom. The windows of these rooms, they open onto an inner courtyard, and right in front, there's a spa room, which should be in any premium house, I guess, and Nikita will tell you about it.
Right now, we are in the spa block with you, and let's go through some of the functionalities of this block. We'll begin with its technical area. Positioned to my left is a laundry room. It is extracted from the bedroom area, but it is positioned in close proximity to it, which kind of reduces these regular movements. Here we have a bathroom and a changing room available for use in the spa block area. Often, in some way or another, people tend to forget to create a separate room. They believe that a closet will be enough. However, we are of the opinion that the spa block should have a well-equipped private changing area with storage facilities, allowing guests to store towels and robes. Where you enter, change your clothes, take a robe, and proceed to peacefully relax in the sauna for a while. The sauna, by the way, is located on this side, and then there is a rather clear sequential narrative of what will take place in this location. Specifically, there is a sauna where we have a good steam, come out, go into the shower area under a beautiful shower head with a tropical shower. We splash ourselves with water, then, after steaming, we climb into the jacuzzi with cool water. And if we do not want to sit in the jacuzzi, we calmly jump into the pool. And here we are, swimming, surrounded by panoramic glazing and enjoying a beautiful view of our inner courtyard. By the way, when I was telling about the inner courtyard, I referred to this type of pool effect which appears to burst outwards, and here this effect can already be well observed today. Just imagine that here we have such a water surface on the plane of the floor, which can be easily seen. And this water surface, thanks to this black parallelepiped, on which, by the way, water is also stretched, seamlessly blends into our beautiful landscape. And probably seeing all this, seeing the jacuzzis recessed to the floor level, seeing this overflow pool, you realize that all this must be maintained properly. And now we will proceed to the basement, which is a technical room that is exclusively dedicated to serving the spa block. So here we are in the technical room, and as you can see, there are a lot of these beautiful black pipes. It is quite a spacious room, in fact. This is the base of the jacuzzi, which will later appear there. Here we can observe the pool basin. An interesting fact is that whenever you see a pool in any structure, it definitely has an independent foundation because the pool has its own vibrations, deformations, expansions, and it is separated from the main house's foundation to prevent any interactions between them. An exquisite, intelligent home panel that controls automation, motion sensors, and different scenarios that will ultimately appear in this location for the future resident of the house. Also, as I already mentioned in the boiler room, we saw one of the units in the boiler room with you, which serves the residential block, the living block, and generally that very part of the house that is public. And here we can observe with you the ventilation unit with dehumidification for the spa block. Since in our spa block there is a swimming pool, there is a jacuzzi, all this forms a rather large surface area of water, which constantly evaporates and needs to be dried, so that this water does not accumulate in the form of condensate somewhere where it should not, and subsequently various fungi and other biological organisms do not grow there. And as you can see, we approach engineering design with a high level of meticulousness and attention to detail. As the architect of this house, I laid out the height taking into account insulation, soundproofing of air ducts, so that one could walk through comfortably without hitting their head. This black tank, it is not related to the pool. It belongs to that very fountain, which is an extension of the pool outside. And the overflow tank for the pool will subsequently be brought here in a disassembled form, and assembled, its actual volume is much bigger. Currently, we are in the primary area of the main building, namely primary bedroom. Despite its rather large size of around 376.7 square feet, the space maintains a minimalistic functionality that is characteristic of its design. It consists of naturally a sleeping area, where there will be a large double bed opposite the panoramic window. And strangely enough for a bedroom, there is a fireplace section. In other words, we view the bedroom not only as a place for sleeping, but also as a space for relaxation, with the sound of crackling fire in a comfortable chair with soft lighting and a scenic view of the forest through this charming village, across the rooftops of houses, through a large window that provides a panoramic perspective. Well, since the primary block occupies an entire floor, of course it also has a wardrobe room. We gain entry to it through the bedroom. In this area, a rather spacious arrangement of closets is being planned, including a few exquisite islands complete with their accompanying accessories. We can go through the wardrobe directly into the bathroom. And as you can see, the bathroom is quite large in terms of area. Of course, it has a kind of standard functionality in the form of a beautiful long countertop with several sinks, a mirror, a toilet area, a large shower cabin, and the most interesting thing in this bathroom is a freestanding bathtub opposite a panoramic window through which, taking some bath procedures, we can admire one of the avenues of our capital. Well, what would such a house do without such a luxurious, exploitable terrace where one can spend warm summer evenings, relax, unwind, and fully appreciate the beautiful view of the evening avenue? Unfortunately, today is not one of those warm summer evenings, and we have to say bye and see you soon in our next episode.
I hope you enjoyed this review. Until we meet again.